Hi, I'm Dan. This is Vinyl Fury. And this video is a little special because on the day that this is uploaded, it is officially 10 years since I uploaded my first video on this channel, made really for what we called at the time the vinyl community on YouTube. And that community has grown quite a bit in that 10 years. A lot of those people that were around when I started are no longer there. Some of them have left and come back. Some of them have deleted all their videos or their channel entirely. And there's so many new people that have come along, I have failed to keep up for a long time. But it's kind of cool that 10 years later, I'm still doing this. I'm still interested. I do still see several people that I was watching back then still doing it and still sharing music and their new finds, and it's pretty great. And I was thinking I might do a specific dedicated video just for the 10-year thing, but then I figured it would probably just be the most appropriate thing to do, to just keep doing what I've been doing for the last 10 years, which is show the vinyl records that I've brought in to the collection since the last time I did this. And of course back then I was making a lot more videos because I was buying a lot more records. And as I've talked about in the last few years, I've really kind of concentrated on quality over quantity, gotten rid of a lot. You know, I've been thinking, and if I had kept every record that I've purchased over the last 10 years, I'd be well over 2,000, maybe pushing 3 if I had kept everything, which would just be nuts. I'm down to about 750 now, and I like that. That's good. I actually started collecting in the spring of 2009, and the first record I got was Phil Collins' No Jacket Required. I found it at Goodwill. I just thought it looked cool, and I was just intrigued. And by that summer, I think I had my first turntable, and I was digging through 50-cent sections and dollar bins, and I had a few hundred records within that year. And I've been doing it ever since. And I started finding these videos on YouTube of people talking about their records and their collections and how they store them and what they had just found. And it was fantastic. And I've been enjoying it ever since. I don't do it as much anymore, but I still do it. So here I am for another one. And this will probably be the most records I've shown in a video that are new to me in a very long time, for a couple of reasons. Mostly because most of them are very, very cheap, and I just felt like taking chances. So yeah, what we're going to do today is just another vinyl finds video. And then, as I had talked about in the last one, to kind of mark this 10-year journey of talking about my collection and all that stuff, I was going to show my entire collection as it is in 2021, as I've organized them, which is from newest to oldest. I asked what people would rather see, oldest to newest or backwards, and the consensus was the newest records all the way back. So that's what I'm going to do, starting in the next video. But I figured it would be appropriate to show the ones that I had just acquired since I last made a video. And then by the time we get to where they fall chronologically, we'll see if I still have them. So first off is one that I hadn't planned on buying, because I listened to it digitally and I thought, you know, it's all right. I like it, but I don't know that I need to buy and own it physically. And the vinyl was $30 to $40 everywhere I looked. I was like, well, there's definitely no way I'm doing that. But I went to a local store a few weeks ago and saw it in the clearance section. Several copies were sealed, and they were $20. So I thought, okay, I could do that. It's the newest solo album from Jonesy, from the band Seguros, which is one of my favorites, of course. And this album is called Shiver. It's the second solo album that he's put out. This came out last year. And this is the, I believe, indie exclusive 180-gram version. printed inner sleeves. And it looks like a very nice pressing. I haven't listened to it yet, actually. But since this is a pretty new record, it'll be one of the first I show in the chronological videos. So by then I will have listened to it. But like I said, I had listened to it digitally. I just haven't played the record. But not only was it on clearance, there was a sealed copy that was in the new arrivals in the used section. It was priced over that for sure. It was something like 25 or 30. But when I brought it up to the counter, the guy was like, "Oh, I didn't realize this was on clearance. I just put one in there. I'll give it to you for 15 if you want that one. Still sealed, $5 cheaper." So this was only $15 brand new, sealed. So that was pretty cool. Another one that I found that same day, which I was kind of interested in, is one by Synergy. This is on Passport Records. And I also haven't listened to this one, but it's called Chords. And this is on a clear vinyl, which I thought was fairly unusual for 1978 when it was released. And that was only $4, so I took a shot with that. I do remember Synergy, one of the veteran members of the vinyl community, Mark, Dr. Deadwax, he sent me a Synergy record as some VCLT long ago, which I still have. So the next couple are from a 50 Cent section that I haven't done that in a while. There's a couple of record stores that have these really cheap sections, and every once in a while you find something that's fairly intriguing, or even something that you know is worth more than 50 cents if it's in good condition. And these were a couple that I took a shot on. Not going to keep them, but they were interesting to me. This one's by Randy Edelman. It's called You're the One. This is a DJ copy. This is from 79. I was intrigued by the conceptual cover art. I love that kind of style from the late 70s, early 80s. And it sounds like he's trying to be Billy Joel, kind of. But as I looked into him, apparently he's had a long career mostly as a songwriter for other artists. And he's had many records on his own as well. The first song, it was like, oh yeah, it's pretty cheesy. There were some better ones on it, but it's just not something I need to keep. And Michael McDonald showed up for a few bars in the background on vocals, and unmistakable, that's Michael McDonald. Just like a few bars, he was there. I thought that was interesting. And this one is Bobby Goldsboro. It's called Honey. I believe that's the single from this record as well. This is from, I think, the late 60s. Yeah, it's on United Artists. And again, there was some very, 60s pop songs that were pleasant to listen to. But again, some of it was quite cheesy. The lyrics were fairly cheesy. But again, a long career. I'd just never heard of him. So I thought I'd take a shot on that. But I will be moving it along. Okay, so I think starting now is when we get into this haul that I got from a secondhand vintage store at the beach where I was just recently. I found this, back of the store, couple of racks that had records on them, and they look like they're all from the same collection. And they're all very well taken care of. And they're all kind of the similar type of music, like 60s, late 50s, easy listening, you might call it. Strings, piano, and as we'll get to, Wurlitzer, a lot of that. And most of them were still in the shrink, and they were open, but then taped along the opening. So some of them had like tape damage, aging, but most of it was still in shrink wrap. So I took home, I think, like 18 of these records. So let's get through them. First, a couple that I've actually listened to and decided to keep. This is Bouquet of Love by the Percy Faith Strings. That's on Columbia. That was quite nice. This is Tony Mottola, Close to You, a guitar for lovers. That is on Project 3 Total Sound, which is not something that I had heard of before. So 1970. Yeah, it says inside that this was the 10th album he had done on this label. Apparently, again, a very long career. And I thought the guitar playing was very, very nice. Hadn't heard anything from him before, but I'm keeping this. This is Andre Previn and his orchestra. It's called Misty. See, that one's still in the shrink, but I have listened to it, and I thought it was quite nice. Each of these, I think, I'll need to give a little bit of a clean, but overall, the condition of the vinyl is very, very good for how old these are. And the rest of these I haven't listened to, so I don't have much to say yet. But again, once I get to these chronologically, if I've enjoyed them and kept them, I'll be able to comment on how they actually sounded. This is Spectacular Guitars and Strings by Leroy Holmes and his orchestra. Looks like that's on MGM Records. This is Golden Oregon Favorites by Lenny D. There's a lot of Oregon Wurlitzer records in this collection that I found. 101 Strings, Fireside Serenade, manufactured by Budget Sound Inc. So, this could be not that great sounding. We will see. A lot of these are stereo records that are reissues of earlier mono ones. This one's called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, musical interpretation featuring Richard Harris. I'm really not sure what this is, but it looked interesting. Yeah, still some information to gather on what this actually is, and like I said, I haven't listened to it, but it seemed intriguing. Ray Coniff is someone that I've picked up a few records from over the years. This is Concert in Rhythm. It's a Columbia stereo. This one is interesting. It's a demo record. Has a stamp that says not for sale, for demonstration only. It's George Wright plays the mighty Wurlitzer pipe organ. It comes in a generic green sleeve. It wasn't in too bad of condition, so I took a chance on that. All of these were $1, by the way. So even if I keep 5 or 6 of them, the condition that they're in and everything, it'll end up being worth it. Jesse Crawford, Magic Moments. This is on a subsidiary of Decca Records. Still in the shrink. Another George Wright. This is Pipe Organ Concert on Dot Records, which I'm not familiar with. Another George Wright. I thought this cover was pretty cool. It's called Have Organ Will Travel. And that's a stereo reissue. I Hear a Rhapsody, Johnny Duffy at the Mighty Wurlitzer. Whoever had these records apparently really enjoyed Wurlitzer music. And I feel like I've had 1 or 2 in the past. We'll see how much I like Wurlitzer music overall. This is Command Performance by George Wright. This is on Hi-Fi Records Life series. Not quite sure about that one. Another Ray Coniff. Ray Coniff's Awful Nice. It's a fun cover. Looks like from the late 50s. This again is a stereo reissue. I think originals of these are 6i. We have a Phase 4. Always nice to find these. It's called The French Touch by Maurice Larcang on accordion. So this, I'm guessing I probably won't keep this, depending on what that accordion really sounds like. But it's a Phase 4. So in the 50 cent section that I was talking about, I found this, and then I found another copy in this Beach collection. So I have 2 and not sure which one I'm going to keep. But I will be checking them both out. They're definitely very different pressings. So this is 101 Strings, Play the World's Great Standards. There's this one that has no writing on it, and this one has the 101 Strings logo. Yeah, so we'll see which one sounds better and whether the music is worth keeping at all. And lastly, I was happy to find this Michel Legrand. It's called I Love Paris. And I have, I think, at least 2 records by him. One was Holiday in Rome, and the other one was also Paris. It's called Rendezvous in Paris, I think. And again, this is a rechanneled stereo. Sometimes those aren't the greatest, but I loved the cover, and I've kept those Michel Legrand records that I've found in similar cheap sections. I think they're fun, so we'll see if that one stays in. So there we go, a classic Vinyl Finds video. It's been 10 years. I'm happy to say that, and that I'm still here doing it. I still enjoy it. You know, I don't make as many videos. I don't listen to vinyl records as often as I used to, but the love is still there, for sure. So I'm going to get started on that huge vinyl collection series. That will be coming up very, very soon. And until then, thanks for watching. And if you've been around for 10 years, and some of you have, thank you so much. Let's keep going. All right, I will talk to you again soon. Thank you. And as always, enjoy your music.